Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello viewers, welcome to my channel once more. If you are subscribers, most welcome. If you are new to the channel, you are also most welcome. But don't forget, if you are new, to hit that bell icon so that you get notification of all the new videos that I produce. So we're carrying on with the PowerPoints, and essentially we are going to be doing multiplying by multiplying fractions in this, including algebra. In the title it does say dividing fractions as well, but that isn't the full case. I mean, there is dividing, but essentially it is multiplying. So the plea, as always, is please like, share and subscribe to the channel. We have well short on subscribers. The viewing figures are fantastic, thank you very much, but the subscriptions very disappointing. Okay, so firstly what I have is a recap, really, or a starter as I've called it, so that we recap on the skills that we have learned so far. So on the left hand side we have a normal fraction, and on the right hand side there is an algebra fraction. So I'm going to pause for 5 seconds so that you get a chance to stop the video and have a go at the question. Then I will go through the question. Okay, so looking at the left hand side first, we have a 9 and 5 as the denominators. Therefore, the common denominator, the number that both will go into, is 45. Therefore, we need to multiply the 9 by 5 to get 45, and we must do the same. So 8 times 5 is 40. And 9 times 5 is 45. And similarly on the other side we must multiply that by 9. So 9 times 5 is 45, of course, and 9 times 3 is 27. Then you simply add the top two numbers, 40 and 27. We have 67 over 45, which is the top heavy fraction, giving us 1 and 22 over 45. Okay, on to the algebra side, a little bit more thinking, but the common denominator, the term that both will go into is x squared y. Therefore the x has to be timesed by xy to get x squared y, so we must do the same to the 6. So 6 times xy is 6xy, and let's say the common denominator is x squared y, which is on the other side, and that stays the same. So here it is an addition, so we can't do anything else. We can't add the 6 and the 7, so it has to stay as it is. Those are the rules for the addition of fractions. It is different, as we will discover today, in multiplications. Okay, so if you can do this, then multiplication will be no problem to you whatsoever. So just summarizing, we've looked at adding and subtracting, and today we're going to be looking at multiplying and dividing. And again, we must look at algebra versions because they are in the 11 plus, but of course they do follow the same rules of fractions. So in addition we don't add the terms, and we're going to look at multiplication today. Okay, so nice easy one to start off with. It's 1 over 2 a half multiplied by 1 over 2 a half multiplied by a half. So all we do is multiply the top line. 1 multiplied by 1 is 1, 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. So therefore the answer is 1 over 4. Okay, so it's easy as that. Another example. So remember, when multiplying fractions, you multiply the tops together and then the bottom. So 5 times 3 is 15, and 4 times 7 is 28. Okay, and just to emphasize, don't forget that keep an eye on the numbers. If they can be simplified, then you must do that, and examiners are very keen to spot that, and if you don't put it in the simplest form, you will not get full marks. So what this is saying in essence is what is 5/7 of 3/4. Okay, so we've got a bit of a practical problem here then. Work out the area of this rectangle in square inches. We are given two measurements, 3 1/4 and 5 1/5. So that is the sum. So in addition and subtraction, if you remember, we did say that we can add and take away those numbers. Right, in multiplication that is not the case. We need to turn those fractions into top heavy fractions, which means multiplying 5 by 5, then adding on the 1, so that becomes 26 over 5, and on the other side, the other number, 4 times 3, which is 12, and 1 more is 13. Okay, so we have 26 over 5 and we have 13 over 4. Okay, so we need to be able to deal with such numbers. So 13 times 26 is 338 over 20. Okay, so a big heavy number there, so we must turn it into a mixed number. It is 16 9/10. And don't forget the label, which in this case is square inches. So you either write it like this or you put the power of 2 if you are writing it out. Okay, we've got an algebra problem now. So the question here is, what is A times A and what is 3 times 4? Okay, we all know what 3 times 4 is. Of course, it's 12. We always make the top mistake, or the mistake of A times A, and that of course is A squared, not 2A. So the answer is A squared over 12. Okay, so now that you know that a letter times a letter is squared, I'm going to give you I'm going to pause for 5 minutes so that you can stop it and do this one yourselves. Okay, so here we have 3 times 2, which is 6, and then b times b, which becomes b squared. So it's 6b squared over 14. Okay, so that's the top number, and that is the bottom number. So remember what we said, that in multiplication, and also in the answers in addition as well, we must look at the fraction and see if they can be simplified. Here we have a 6 and a 14. Therefore, that needs to be simplified by dividing by 2, so it becomes 3 over 7. So the answer is 3b squared over 7. So there's nothing to divide the b squared, so that stays the same. Okay, so I'm going to pause for 5 seconds so that you get a chance to have a look at this one by yourselves. Okay, so we have 5 times 2, which is 10. Then we must multiply q by p. Well, there are two lots of p, so p times p is p squared, and then in q there's nothing to times that, so the top line becomes 10 p squared q, and the bottom of course is 9 times 5, which is 45. Okay, again we look at the numbers, and they both divide by 5, and 10 divided by 5 is 2, and 45 divided by 5 of course is 9. Okay, sorry, I moved on a little fast. So that is the end of the presentation, and as always I've found 10 questions for you to do, and again I shall pause here for 10 seconds. So this has been a shorter presentation than normal, but I think the topic is quite straightforward. Okay, so the next slide contains the answers, and I shall move on to it, and of course you need to check your answers at your leisure. Alright, so hopefully you have learned from today's presentation. I hope I haven't gone through it too fast. Please do comment and make recommendations either on the content or in terms of the things that you want me to cover. Okay. So just summarizing, so we've learned to multiply fractions and looked at the algebra versions and looked at some questions with these situations in mind. Okay, so that brings us to the end. Once again, I thank you for watching my presentation, and make a final plea. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so hopefully things are getting better for us, and we'll hopefully next week try and do some outside filming as well. But in the meantime, look after yourselves, look after others. Okay, so अपना ख्याल रखना, दूसरों को भी ख्याल रखना, दुआओं में याद रखना. अल्लाह हाफिज. Goodbye.